What is going on, guys? Stefan with you, S&E's Garage. Today we're coming back at you, and we're coming back strong with some TRD Camry content. Today we are going to be completely overhauling the sound system in this car. You'll see last year about this time we did add a subwoofer to kind of reinforce those lows, and today we're going to follow that up, and we're going to completely redo every single speaker in this car. So in the front and rear doors, you're going to have 6.5-inch speakers. So we went ahead and bought 2 sets of the JBL Club 620F. I am partial or impartial to JBL products. In my other Camry, we put Pioneers in that, but I was just looking for something cheap, something quick. This car we want to sound good and perform good. So we are stepping it up to JBL's. And then up in the dash on the corners, you'll see the grills there. And there's another one over on that side under the inspection sticker. We went with the Club 322F. These are 3.5-inch speakers, and these are direct bolt-ins. So for the front and rear doors, you are going to need adapters here. This is the Scosche 142 SAT69. This is going to be for the front doors. This is the Metra 82-8148. These are going to be for the rear doors. I am going to link all of this stuff in the video description below, so you can purchase it from there if you need to. We have all of our hardware here to mount them, and then we have our pigtails here. These are going to be for the dash corners. This is a Metra 72-8110, and then we have 2 sets of these guys for the door speakers, Metra 72-8109. So we have everything we need here to do this, and we're going to go ahead with you. We're going to set you up on the tripod, and we're going to take you along the way step by step. Now, I chose these speakers because, number one, like I said, they're JBL. I like JBL. Number 2, they are a low impedance speakers. These are 3 ohm speakers. Most speakers that you're going to buy on the internet or anywhere really that are aftermarket are going to be 4 ohm speakers. The more ohms you have, the more resistance is in the speaker, and the harder it's going to be for your factory amplifier and or radio to push them. So you want to go as low as you can without going too low. 1 ohm isn't going to make that big of a difference as far as causing any problems, but it is going to let them play a little bit louder. And one thing I am going to do when we pull our old speakers out, I'm going to ohm them out just because I'm curious what Toyota used in these cars. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into it. I think we're going to tackle the dash speakers first. They should be the easiest. Those panels come right off. So let's get you set up on the tripod. We're going to open one of the doors and we're going to get started. I think the easiest way to show you guys this is going to be to position you like this towards the dashboard through the windshield. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get one of our plastic trim removal tools. We're going to pop that trim off. I'm also going to put a link to a set of those down below. So like I said, if you need them, you can buy them there. If you do buy them there, it does help the channel out, so we do greatly appreciate that. But let's get started. So we're just going to come up here from the front, pry this straight up. Like so. You'll see all that we have here are these 2 plastic push pins. You're going to have one here and one here, one at each corner. They'll pop right up. And then we have 2 10mm screws. They also have Phillips heads on them, but it's going to be a lot easier to get in there with a 10mm. So I'm going to get my 10mm set up on my 1/4-inch ratchet. We're going to pull that out, and we're going to make sure we get the wires up high enough so they don't fall back into the dash. Trying to keep the tools down to a minimum here. If I can just break them loose with my ratchet and then get them out the rest of the way by my with my fingers, I will. Alright, we got both of them out. Now we should just be able to lift the speaker directly out. And unplug like so. And this is the cheap garbage that Toyota puts in these cars from the factory. Let's go open up our JBLs and check them out. And for the record, this is a 4 ohm speaker, so we are going to be putting a 3 ohm in there. Like I said, that's going to get us a little more volume. Let's go ahead and open these up. Alright guys, so like I said, here's the old one, paper woofer, very small magnet. Here's our new one, very large magnet, nice polypropylene cone, and it is a 2-way speaker, so it's not just a single woofer. You have a woofer and then a tweeter, so this should be very nice. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to open up our dash wire harnesses. We're going to plug them into the factory connector. I'm going to bring you back over there. We're going to plug in our spade connectors here and here. We're going to screw these back in. So these pigtails that they give you with this harness are extremely long. So what I went ahead and did is I coiled it up and zip tied it. It's super important that you use these harnesses when you do this, because if you see, this connector is a 4-pin connector. So you have your feed from the radio coming into this speaker, and then you have 2 wires going from this speaker down to the speakers in the doors. So if you don't hook this up correctly, your door speakers will not work. So Metra, takes all the guesswork out of this for you. You'll see they jump it for you. Everything's all set up. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to plug this into that. I'm going to stick this down in the hole, and then we're going to go ahead and get our speaker. Go get our speaker here. We're going to plug the spade connectors right in. There's a large and a small. They'll line right up. Here's number 1. There's number 2. And we're just going to very carefully and easily drop these down into place. You may have to manipulate them a little bit to get them to sit in there correctly, like so. And I am just going to use my factory hardware to put them back in. Right, go ahead, use the ratchet here. Let me see if I can get a deep socket that might work a little bit better. I don't want to scratch my dash up. There we go. Just going to put a very small extension on there. Give us a little bit more height off the dash. Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, put that cover back on. And then I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to do the other side off camera. I don't think there's any reason for you to watch me do this again. So once we do that, we're going to move in over to the front doors, and then the back doors, and then we're done. So you have two clips back here. They're like locating clips. You're going to slide them into place, like so. Boom. Done. We are done up here. Let me take care of the driver's side off camera, and then we'll be back with you for the doors. Alright guys, here we are at the passenger front door. We are going to tackle the front door next. It is going to require removing this door panel, so I always like to start with rolling my window down. So let's go ahead. Roll that window down. There's three parts, or four really, that we're going to have to disassemble here. We have to remove what's known as the sail panel, which is this guy up here. We have to take out our power window and door lock switches. We have to remove our armrest here, and then there is a little panel here that I can't get out with my fingers, but it's hiding a screw back behind the handle. So let's go ahead, let's get the sail panel off with our trim tool here. We're just going to very carefully get behind it, pry it off like so. It's held in with one of these push pins here and a locating tab. We're going to put that down here on the floor. We're going to go ahead, again using our plastic trim tool, and remove the shield I was telling you about. We're going to go ahead and get in here and remove our switches, and we're going to unplug them. There's two connectors on this passenger side. I'm not sure what's going to be on the driver's side. When I get over there, I will show you if it is any different. So I'm just removing these two connectors, and then we can go ahead like so, just pull straight up, and this guy should almost come right out. We're going to leave it hanging like this. There is a clip here for when the airbags deploy, so this doesn't hit you in the face. So we're going to leave that hanging here. And this is going to show us all of our screws. There's going to be a screw here, Phillips head behind the handle. There's going to be one here behind where our Windows switch was. And there's going to be one here by the armrest. I'm going to bring you over here and show you, and then we're going to pop this panel off. Alright guys, so like I said, you have 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to set you back up on the tripod. Let's get them out. There's number 1. There's number 2. And there's number 3. Now I'm going to try to do this by hand. I'm probably going to need a screwdriver here, but we're going to pull from the bottom. Yeah, let me go grab a screwdriver. We're going to give it a real quick yank to pop it loose, and this door panel should come right off. Alright, so under here you're going to kind of feel around. You'll feel a little relief for where your screwdriver is meant to go, and you're just going to give it a quick pop like that, and then you're just going to work your way around the perimeter here to disengage all of your clips, and you're going to lift straight up like so. We're going to unclip our door handles here and here, and now this panel is off, revealing our stock speaker. So let's get that. I'll bring you over there, show you the speaker, show you what we're going to do. One thing you're going to want to do is kind of look around where all of your push pins go. Make sure you don't have any stubborn ones. You'll see I have one here, and there's another one up here. We are going to want to remove them from the door and reinstall them onto the door panel. Otherwise, the door panel is not going to sit right. But you'll see here is our factory speaker. We're going to just unplug it for right now from right here. You'll see the connector is right here. Just got to get your fingers in there, wobble it loose, and then it's going to be 4 10mm bolts, and we'll get it right out of the way. And I am just going to go grab a set of pliers, pop these two, where's the other one here, out off camera really quick, just so I can reinstall them onto the door panel. Alright guys, there's number one. I like to just drop all my hardware on the floor mat. There is number two. Okay, number three is right here. Floor mat. And then number four. Okay. Sorry for the wobbly camera work here. I'm a one-man wrecking crew, and I try to do my best for you guys. So let's go ahead. Let me grab my screwdriver real quick. Let's try the plastic trim tool. This thing looks like it might be glued on or something. I'm just going to go ahead and pry right here. There it goes. Okay. There we go. Wow. Is this thing... Oh, look, there's the window. That's funny. Is this thing chintzy or what? Let's see what we can see here. This is a 4 ohm made in Vietnam. Let's go ahead and bring it over to the toolbox, compare it to one of our new speakers. We're going to unbox them and see what the differences is, you know, voice coil, magnet size, and things like that. So the factory woofer is actually quite a bit larger than the replacement woofers that we are putting in. But if you look at the size difference of these magnets, it's unbelievable. And generally, the bigger your magnet, the better your speakers are going to perform. It's just the way it is. So these should sound much better. They might not have as much lows as this speaker. For example, this speaker may go a little bit lower as far as frequency is concerned, but we do have a subwoofer in this car, so I'm trying to kind of increase the highs now, which is the whole purpose for doing this, because again, this is a one-way design, this is a two-way design. So let's go ahead, let's get our mounting brackets here, let's get them over to the car. What I'm probably going to do is install these first, and then put the speakers into these. And then, like I said, we have our plug-and-play harnesses, so we're not splicing and cutting the factory harness. So let's set you back up over there. So this isn't an absolutely required or necessary step, but back when I was at the dealer, I had what was known as a squeak and rattle kit. And I took some felt from that kit. Now, this is a kit that we would use if we had a customer with a rattle concern. And we isolated it to say where the door panel meets the door. We would put some of this felt here to prevent that rattle. And that's exactly what I did here, is I just lined the back of this where it's going to connect to the door with this stuff to prevent any rattles when, you know, the bass hits with the speaker. So if you want to buy some felt and do the same thing, it's not necessary. I would definitely advise you do that so you don't have any, you know, rattles on your brand new speakers. A little bit of rattling will sound like garbage, believe me. So we're just going to go ahead and line this up as best we can. Keep in mind, it is aftermarket. It might not be perfect. And these holes are a little oblong so that you can manipulate this to make it fit. So we're not really having too big of a problem right now, but just keep that in mind. You are modifying your car, and it might not be perfect, but you'll get it close enough. Alright, so let's go ahead. Alright, let's go ahead and go get So these JBLs also came with some felt of their own, so we went ahead and installed that around the basket of the speaker. This, again, is going to prevent squeaks and rattles, and that's the last thing we want. We got our screws here. We're going to go ahead and screw these speakers directly into our adapter. We're just trying to line up our screw holes here, which I believe we just did. Excellent. So that's going to work. Let me get our wiring, wire them up, screw them in. One thing I want to show you that's super important here that I actually messed up. You got to make sure that this little hole here is on the top where your speaker wire goes. I had it at the bottom, and obviously I had nowhere to put my speaker wire. So we're just going to put our two little leads down into here like this, and then we're going to plug this end here into the factory connector, and that should do it, just like so. Alright, so now we can go ahead and plug these into our speaker and screw the speaker in. Alright guys, and this should be your finished product. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put everything back here together. We're going to put our door panel back on, reconnect our clips here for the door handle and the door locks, and I'm going to go ahead and do the driver's side. Like I said before, no reason for me to show you this again, so we'll be back with you when we're ready to do the back. Alright guys, we're over here on the driver's side. I just wanted to show you, it is still two connectors. They are in a little bit of a different spot on the switch because this is the master switch. So it's just a larger connector and it's on the back side of it, or yeah, that would be the back side of it towards the back of the car. But what I did here is I did this side a little bit differently. I put the speaker together in the adapter over on my toolbox, and I did the same thing. I wrapped it with this squeak and rattle kit foam or felt, whatever you want to call it. We're going to drop this in, plug it in, put our door panel back on, and I think we're going to call it a night for tonight. We'll do the back tomorrow, but for you guys, you're not even going to tell a difference. So let me get this back in, make sure everything works, door panel back on, and we'll move back to the back doors. Alright guys, so here we are at the back doors. Speakers are right in here behind these grills. So we're going to do the same thing that we did in the front. We're going to come right here, get our trim tool in, pop this switch out. This is a one pin or a one connector switch, and then we're going to, same thing here, plastic trim tool. We're going to work this here out like so. Get this out. Then we have our clip here. Oh, that one ran away from me. Alright, and we got the same thing. 1, 2, 3. We have our 3 Phillips head screws. Go ahead. Alright, now usually the interior trim tools are not tough enough to pop door panels off, but this is a rear door panel, so it'll come off. Again, I just took this, stuck it under the door, and pried it out, and now we're just going to go around the perimeter here, disengaging all of our clips, and this panel should lift off. like so. Okay, we're going to pull our cables here off for the door handle and move the panel out of the way. And we are going to clip this guy here in. So this door panel here has these little clips here, 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 and here that engage this right here. So pull it straight out. Don't try to lift up like I did. Straight out, it'll come right out. We're going to go ahead, unplug our speaker, which is down in the corner here. Put the wire aside. We're going to get our 10mm gun and zip this out. These are only held in with 3 screws in the back. Comes right out. Let's go get the adapter, set it up, get the speaker in. Alright guys, so this is the stock speaker we removed, and it also, actually believe it or not, it says Pioneer on it, but it also says that it is a 4 ohm speaker. So all 6 speakers that we are removing from this car are 4 ohm, and they are being replaced with 3 ohm. Now I am going to do the same thing I did on my driver's side, and I'm going to install the speaker in the bracket and then put it in as one assembly. So I already went ahead and I put the foam around the basket of the speaker. You'll see here with the adapter, the wire lead thing is up top, so we're going to want to make sure the top of this is in the same area. And we are just going to line up our holes as best we can here. We might have to manipulate it a little bit, so that is probably going to be the closest right here. So let me get one of these screws started. Let's move you this way here. And all I'm going to do, these are the screws that came with the speakers, so I'm just going to use my magnetized Phillips head here. Damn, I just had it in there. There we go. Like I said, I'm just going to get them started. Okay, there's number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, now we're going to take our wire leads that we purchased. Alright, we are going to fish them through this hole and hope to God that they fit. I might have to do the big one first. So I might actually have to make this hole here a little bit bigger because this ain't fitting through it. So let me just get my drill out. I'm going to drill that out a little bit. This will fit right in. All we did is make this hole a little bit bigger, and these fit right in. Alright, and now this is as easy as plugging in the leads to the spade connectors here. 1, and 2. Alright, now we can go over to the car. I am going to take some felt here, if I have any laying around, and just try to line this guy here so it doesn't rattle. Alright. Here is our speaker here, pre-installed in the bracket, like I said. We're going to take our 3 screws, and we're just going to try to set this guy in place. It looks like it's going to want to sit like this, if you can see it. So let's go 1, 2, and 3 here. Alright, we're going to take our connector, going to plug our speaker in, and we're just going to tuck the excess wire up and out of the way. And I am going to try to cut, there's a small tab here off that looks like it might get in the way of the door panel on this adapter. This guy right here. We're just going to pull that off so it's not sticking out under here. And we're going to put our door panel back on. So we're going to reconnect our cables here. One is for the latch, and the other one is for the door locks. So like I said, the white one is going to be for the lock. Alright, that one is in. I'm going to slip the second one in. That is in. And now we are very carefully going to line up our door panel, making sure that our switch connector here is visible. Alright, we're going to take our screw gun, put our screws in. Remember, we have 3 of them. We have the 2 down here at the bottom, just like the front doors. There's number 1. There is number 2. Here is number 3. Okay, I'm going to put our little trim cover in. Alright, we are going to put our armrest in. Okay. Now, just like that. Alright, let's move on to the other door. Alright guys, so just like that, we went ahead and replaced all 6 speakers in this car. We did the dash speakers, the front door speakers, and the back door speakers. Now these JBL speakers, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't like them at first. I didn't like the way they sounded. They accentuate the highs and the mids a little more than I like. So what I went ahead and did is I went ahead in the radio, I messed with the EQ settings, and I actually got it set up to how I like it. Now they sound awesome. They sound much better than the factory speakers. So I just want to bring you in the car real quick, and I want to show you how I have my EQ settings set to give, in my opinion, the most natural sound that you can get out of these speakers. And it is worlds ahead of the factory sound. They sound awesome. So like I said, I left the treble right in the middle, but I turned the mids down to the 4th click, And then I have the bass turned down, and the main reason I turn the bass down is to pull some of the bass out of the door speakers and send it back to my sub, because I do have a subwoofer. If you like a little bit more bass and you don't have a subwoofer, by all means, turn the bass up, leave it to where you want it. But this is the sound that I think works best for me, again. So the treble is flat, which would be right in the middle. The mid we have turned down 2, and the bass we have turned down 2. So this is, like I said, this is the way I like it. It sounds great now. It sounds 10 times better than the factory speakers. And they are much louder because they have, like I said, that lower resistance, lower impedance. So the amplifier in the head unit is able to send them more power. So with that being said, if this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. Again, everything that we used in this video, I'm going to drop down in the section below the description to my Amazon affiliates page, and if you purchase from those links, it helps the channel greatly, and we do appreciate it. So like, share, subscribe, check out some of my other Camry videos. If you're looking at putting a subwoofer in your car, in your Camry, I do have a video on that, you know, from start to finish. I have a video on removing the radio so that you can get it out to install your, you know, your line out converter, whatever you have to do. So please check them out. We'll see you on the next one.